Adley is a big name back here, and we're just really fortunate to be part of his journey. But I'm telling you, I Monday night I became a huge Baltimore Orioles fan, and
they're selling hats.
Yeah, I can't. I've been to Camden Yards. Can't wait to get back. Because I sense that Adley will find his way there, and just a thrill. And just it's sometimes got to pinch yourself. It's like how did all this happen? He was just 20 years ago, just a little baby, and then a toddler, and then, he's running around following his dad. His dad was, a coach for the Knights, back in 1999.
Well, where were you in 90? Give me your background, because you've known Adley since he was a little boy, and my understanding he was a bat boy, right, for your team, right?
He wasn't a bat boy, but he was a kid. He's a ballpark rat, and he was at the games, following his dad, following the team,
playing catch, chasing balls in the outfield, right?
Yeah, he just was part of the game, around the game, and I think that goes a long ways for kids. You see a lot of players excel that have been around it, and his dad was the catalyst for all these experiences, because his dad was in baseball, and he was a heck of a catcher and a heck of a coach, and Adley, and his sister Josie, and Randy's wife Carol, they follow the team around in the summer because it's a lot of baseball, and
you want to be the number one pick. There is a lot. I mean, if you're the number one pick, you've played as much baseball as anybody's ever played, and your family has been married to it since you were 7 years old, right? I mean, that's just that's the nature of all for every family involved in the draft on Monday, whether your kid went first or not. If your kid got drafted on Monday night, you have dedicated your life to the sport, and for people like you, look. My last name's Aparicio. My dad loved baseball and all of that it brought in. But for you, you've dedicated your life to this Corvallis. Tell me about the Corvallis Knights. Tell me about Randy and his dad and how all this got started 20 years ago.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Adley, you're getting just the greatest kid ever. I'm biased, but I don't know how you can have a better kid. And look, he's a first-round pick too, so you get the whole package. But that all came from his mom and his dad. Randy, I always say, is the best guy ever. Close friend, and just fortunate to have played ball with him and been a friend. But he was back in the old days, in the semi-pro days, late 90s. He was our player manager. They, older guys actually played. Now it's just, summer collegiate. But he coached the team, and back in the old days, we were in the metro area. And it wasn't as big a deal. Summer collegiate baseball has really exploded, and the pioneer was the Northwoods League in the Upper Midwest. But
that's a Wisconsin league, right?
Yep. And it's wildly popular. And Dick Radis Jr. did an amazing job building that. And we've emulated that. We're out in the Pacific Northwest. The Corvallis Knights were originally in the Portland area, but that just where we were out in Gresham wasn't going to work. So we moved to Corvallis in 2007, and
this is a long way from Adley's home, right? Because up in the Portland area, he's from the Portland suburbs. I looked at the map; it's not particularly close. You're closer to Eugene, right?
Yeah. No, Adley grew up in Sherwood, and Randy was coaching when we were out in Gresham, and he coached through 2004, and and is on our board. He's been on our board since, But Adley, when still in his formative years, Randy would have him come down to Corvallis again, not a short distance, about 90 minutes, and he would catch bullpens. I want to say as young as 13, 14, 15, catching these college kids, and what a great experience for him to see next level pitching. At that position, catching out in the bullpen. But yeah, it wasn't close. But the Corvallis Knights have become wildly popular in that market. Baseball's obviously become really big. The Beavers national champs, 06, 07. They won it last year. We so fortunate to have a relationship with Pat Casey, and he welcomed us, and we moved down to Corvallis, and have been part of quite a few different facility enhancements at Goss. So we've been, very fortunate. So,
and your season's just getting underway this week, right? This sort of kicks you guys off, right? You play the short season that like the Cal Ripken with the Aberdeen Ironbirds play here beginning in June.
Yep. Yeah, we emulate short season, all 3-game series. The kids are typically on the road for a week, back home for a week. It's again, trying to simulate what pro ball might look like. It's a lot of games in a condensed period, 2.5 months. We get really good crowds. The fans in Corvallis treat the players like pros.
Didn't Adley play 5 minutes for you guys recently?
Yeah. He didn't play that long. It was his incoming freshman year, his first taste of college baseball in 2016. He only, if I recall, he only played in the month of June and maybe a little in July. He got hurt. Well, I totally remember this because he played pretty well, but we had a West Coast League All-Star game, and I remember saying, you got to have this guy in the game because maybe he doesn't have the big numbers, but the guy can play, and he is going to be a big deal someday. It's just, you just kind of knew. So he got picked for the All-Star game, but he got hurt and wasn't able to play, and that pretty much cut short his summer. And then he had to start football earlier because
he was a kicker, right?
He was a kicker, so you guys are probably aware, but he was had to report to Oregon State football camp in early August. So, but he had a lot going on early, and I think while he was a great kicker and added value to the Beaver football team, it's probably a good decision to focus on baseball considering the type of player he was. And when he did, he really blossomed. He ended up going out to the Cape Cod League after his freshman season where he struggled a little offensively, figured some things out, and, the rest is history. He had, a great summer for Team USA last year. He's excelled at every level.
I'm watching him kick baseball. A 63-yard field goal with his left foot, or my nuts?
Yep. No, he's a left-footed kicker, and like Pat Casey said last night on MLB Network or Monday night, he could have been a professional kicker in Case's, view. I wouldn't argue with that. He could really kick, and then, he was a heck of a football player at Sherwood High School. He ran the ball, linebacker, defensive end. I remember going to a semifinal playoff game with Randy when I'm trying to remember who Sherwood played, but he could really play. He was a good athlete, really good athlete.
Well, I'm going to make sure Justin Tucker gets a look at him. Tucker's going to be worried about his gig around here, seeing his kid kick 63-yard field goals when he's 16 years old. Adley Rutschman is our newest. He's not an Oriole yet, but he will be an Oriole. We're on the line with Dan Segel. He is. What should I call you? President, leader, coach, owner, founder? What are you exactly?
I tell people I'm the chief cook and bottle washer, but my official title is, for Knights Baseball Club, I'm the CEO, CFO guy. So, okay. But we operate the Corvallis Knights. We do an all-star series for the end of the high school year for senior baseball players. We do a few different events, but the Knights are sort of our bread and butter, and we've got a great staff down there and great coaches, and again, a neat board that includes Randy Rutschman, and like I said, Rutsch is the best of the best. A great human being, but the other thing too, we talk about the baseball part. The guy knows the game like is second to none. He's considered out here in the Pacific Northwest a catching guru. He's just outstanding, and fortunate to have him out here in the Pacific Northwest. But one of the byproducts of his knowledge, his son Adley. But
we're gonna get to know Randy around here too, aren't we? Right?
Oh, you will. Randy will be out there. You'll get to know Randy. He's a great guy. You'll love him. Just so happy for that family. And one thing I want to share in this is Randy has never pushed baseball on Adley. Adley just kind of developed his own passion over time. Now, again, Adley was around it. I remember him playing a lot of catch, and he's such a nice kid too. He'd play catch with my kids, but he had just as much fun skipping rocks or chasing snakes or running around in the park. It wasn't baseball all the time.
But his dad really is a catching coach, like literally.
Oh, absolutely. Literally catching.
Like having your dad be a goalie coach and you being a goalie in hockey, right?
Yep.
Or Dave Johnson, who literally was a pitcher, a pitching coach, and then his son went on to pitch for the Orioles and pitch in the big leagues.
Yep.
Well, you know what? Brian Billick's my partner around here on behalf of the Living Classrooms Foundation. He would always say that, give me a coach's kid. Give me a coach's kid, and I'll work it, and you can become a Brandon Stokely, or you can, and I guess in the baseball world, there's a lot of that goes around. The reason I still love baseball 50 years later is my dad was an umpire and a coach and a manager, and, taught me how to hit the cutoff man, and taught me fundamentals, and bought me Ted Williams, The Science of Hitting, and, when you have that kind of a parent, you become a baseball person.
Yeah, and I'd say, just you really got a great human coming out to Baltimore, and he's just brought up the right way, super respectful, polite. He's going to sign autographs till the last kid leaves. Again, I think I mentioned prior to this broadcast that I ran into the founder of Big League Chew at the neighborhood pub last night.
Big League Chew, like the gum?
Yeah, the gum. Yeah.
Man, you know how much Big League Chew I chewed when I was in the big leagues?
A lot.
And that was before I was like 12 or 13, probably.
Yeah, but he lives in the neighborhood. He's a good friend. He's a good friend of Rob Nyer, the commissioner of the West Coast League, and we're just chatting. We're all excited about Adley going 1-1 and going to the Orioles, and he hit it on the head. He said Baltimore's going to get a professional in the likes of Cal Ripken, who, Nellie's friends with the Ripkins, Cal and Billy, and he just said, that's the type of guy you're getting. It's really exciting.
That's high praise now. You go compare him to Cal.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, just like that. He
I love it. I love it.
The professionalism part of it, you're going to be really pleased. He's going to be great with fans. I think he'll be great with the media, great in the community. And Nellie also wanted to mention that the Orioles, they've got Big League Chew in the dugout, and he loves his relationship with the Orioles. Big League
Chew, man. I haven't had a mouthful of that in a while. It's time. Maybe it's time I get Rob Nelson on as well.
Yeah,
hey, Dan Segel's here. Hey, listen, Dan, I might have everybody on from Corvallis and Portland and Beaverton and, Alberta and every other place out there. So we'll get it all going on. Really a pleasure to know you. I know your season's getting underway with the Corvallis Knights. I'm going to send everybody out to find you, Corvallis Knights. And I know you also write on your website. You've written a whole bunch about Adley, and I'm sure you will not be a stranger around here. And, hey, man, when you get here to Baltimore, make sure you find me. I'll make sure you don't get any tourist crab cakes, all right?
Absolutely. That's one of the things I'm really looking forward to because, again, I'm confident that Adley will find his way to Camden Yards, and I can't wait to go see an Orioles game, see Adley, and hopefully get to watch the game with Randy and hope to get to meet you when I get out there.
One way to keep my mouth shut is to fill it with Big League Chew. So maybe you can do that.
Hey, I'm going to talk to Nellie. And we're going to make sure you get some Big League Chew.
I appreciate that. Dan Segel joining us here, the Corvallis Knights. And everybody in Oregon's nice. Why, we got to bring Oregon nice to Baltimore as part of the Baltimore positive movement. Everybody's been so kind to us. Adley Rutschman, the new Baltimore Orioles. So we're talking about him. You can find me out on the buyatoyota.com audio vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device. So many new sponsors. If you're hearing our ads, stay with us through the commercial breaks. We're going to be at Fadley's eating crab cakes with Mayor Jack Young 2 weeks from Thursday on June the 20th as part of our Baltimore Positive Initiative. So many new sponsors to talk about. I read them off here. I mean, everybody knows about Cole Roofing and Gordian Energy and all that they do for us. G&A Coney Island. Talk about Big League Chew. How about Big League Hot Dogs at G&A Coney Island Hot Dogs in Highlandtown, and our friends, of course, at Strategic Factory, making hats like this and shirts like this and mugs that I drink from, and the perfect promotional item for your brand and your company. That's what Strategic Factory does. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking about Adley Rutschman and Baltimore sports.